So there are a lot of interesting things for this update of Vilous Soldier of the North. Right now, if I press B, I will open up a survival handbook, which is going to be an item that you pick up in the game. And you see we get this interface that pops up. These are just placeholder textures, and like all this text is going to be translated later. But right now, this is just the survival handbook as it currently stands, just for testing. You can notice that we have this arrow over here on the right hand side. If we click that, we turn pages. So now down here you can see this is just a little bit of debug information. We have our item on page, and then whatever the item on that page is, we have the name of it there, and then we have the page number beneath that. You can see, I can keep turning pages, and you'll notice right there, as soon as I turn past this page, and same thing if I go to the cover page, you'll notice that these two plan buttons down here in the bottom left and right hand corners of the interface, those disappear. And that's because in the array of items that the survival book uses, that's because these two pages are set to be information pages. So that's why, you can't plan anything that's not there. So that's the purpose of that. That stops things from breaking. I also notice when I get over to the inside cover, I can't turn the page left anymore. I can't go into negative pages because this is page 0. So I can just keep going forward. And I actually don't have any entries past there, so it doesn't even have textures beyond that. But yeah, that just shows that. So another cool feature of this survival handbook, because in game it's going to be like a proper resource that's going to be handed out to the soldiers. This survival handbook, say, hey, I turn over here to page 4, whatever, and I close the book, I'm doing whatever, I come over here, I pick up a bowl of noodles because I'm hungry, cool. I can press the button to open the survival handbook again, and I'll be returned to that page number. I won't have to start back at the beginning and thumb through all the pages. In the end, we plan on having between 75 and 100 pages in this book, because it's going to serve as a resource for the player to learn how to actually play the game. And if I go over here into the survival handbook blueprint itself, see that we got a whole bunch of different stuff in here. And I'm just wanting to come over here to point out how easy it is for me to add items to this, and just how easy it is to rearrange all of the, like whatever's in the book. Basically, we have these two different arrays. This one handles our page textures. We click on that and open this, we can see, here's all the pictures that are going to be shown when we're at page 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And same thing with the items to build, except these are actual class items that we can change to whatever we want, really, but it would only make sense if it was builder items, so we would be able to actually put a blueprint down in the world and not just like populate final mesh, I guess. So yeah, you can just click this drop down menu and add whatever you want, and then obviously go over here to the page texture and update the corresponding array element to what you just added or what you changed. And with the way that I have the code set up, it's just kind of cool. I have it set up so everything works in relation to one another. So like over here, if we turn the page right, we get whatever the right page number is and add 1 to that, and that'll be our left page number, and we add 1 to that, and that's our right page number. So no matter what, no matter how many like rapid weird clicks that you do going through the survival handbook, no matter what kind of problems you could run into, lag or something, the pages will never get jumbled up. So you'll be on like page 3 and page 7 at the same time or something. So yeah, pages are proportional, so that's pretty cool. So again, like just pointing out where it said informative pages, because there's over here in this array, page 0 and page 1, they don't have any they don't have any blueprints to build. So if there's no actor at that index in the array, it's going to say none, and then the code is going to say, okay, this is an informative page. Remove the visibility of the, or rather toggle the visibility of the plan button to not visible. This isn't all that we're going to do with the survival handbook. We also plan on adding different sections to the book. So, like say you come over here, there might be some tabs over here or something on, this side of the page. And you can click on those to quickly flip through different sections of the book, so you don't have to thumb through each individual page. As you click these tabs, say you click the second tab, the first and second tab will be over here on this side of the book, and like third, fourth, fifth, whatever, however that's going to be planned. Just so it really gives the impression that you grab that like that page marker and you just flip it over. So you're actually, it feels like you're thumbing through the book. That's the plan anyway. We also plan on adding a feature to have, or rather to allow the user to like dog ear pages. And that's just going to kind of be like setting a favorite page. So, if there's this one thing that you like to build, or there's this one thing that you think is really useful and you want to build a whole bunch of those, you can just reference that favorited page. And there might be something like, a different tab set that populates at the top of the book. So you just, thumb through those, get to where you want to go quickly. And then, obviously, once we find out what our last page is going to be in the book, just like we did over here in the beginning, we're going to limit the players so they can't keep turning, into infinity like this. And just get into pages that aren't actually there. So enough talking about the survival handbook, and let's talk about actually using it. There have been some pretty good improvements to the Sandbox building system, in my opinion. So let's just thumb through and find, this is our debug item. If you guys remember, this was our very first item that was demonstrated as something that was able to be built in the world. So you can see right here, kind of have this red outline to this box, to our debug item rather. And what that red outline is a, it's detecting collision. So basically, say I come over here, I can put the box right next to, right there, you saw it. I can place the box, right next to this like notice board thing. If I go back here, I get a little too close to where I'm overlapping that one leg of the notice board, the blueprint turns red and I can't place it. Another interesting thing too, rotational snaps. So right there, I'm just pressing the left and right arrow keys, and that's allowing me to orient my object however I want on in regards to the z-axis. Later, I'm planning on adding different types of angle snaps, like right there, that was, I'll get another one out. Right here, this is 5 degrees. So, to get a full like 180 degrees, you gotta, mash that left or right arrow key a whole bunch. I'm planning on adding 15-degree angle snaps and 45-degree angle snaps, and just because of the nature of how the code works and just how the rotational degrees are handled, I have to test and try to implement a correction system for floating point errors. So, every time I turn, like say this box 3 times to the left, I put it down, I grab another box and turn it 3 times to the left, I want it to be exactly like that first box. So that's a planned feature, or a planned fix, I guess. You can also see it's a little buggy with the way that I have everything set up, but you can't place blueprints too close to one another. You can see like right there about is where that's like the threshold of where you can put something, where you can't put something. I know what's causing that, but I have yet to fix that. So anyway, with actually building stuff, you'll see that after we place something that we want to build down in the world, rotate this guy a little, the outline, or the material rather, goes from a either green, indicating we can place it, or a red, indicating we can't place it. And obviously if we can't place it, then we can't place it. It will switch over from a green to this white material, and that's just kind of like a spatial representation of the item that we're trying to build. It's, you know, we can just walk through it. It has no collision. It's just like saying, hey, here's kind of the shape of the thing we're trying to build. So that way you can plan multiple blueprints together. You can, you know, like just plan an entire, if you want to like build a little camp or something, you can plan the whole thing and then build it. You don't have to build each individual thing. You'll notice when I walk through this guy, when I approach it, I get this prompt at the bottom of my screen that says press F to build, or press left control to remove. And that does exactly what it sounds like. If I press F to build, I should be able to build this object, or if I press left control, I can remove that blueprint from the world. Those keys are probably going to be switched around in the future. But you know, just, you know, like say this guy, press F to build. It says I'm unable to build this object, and I'm unable to build it because I'm missing supplies. We press I to go into our inventory. You can see that we actually don't have anything, so we can pick some stuff up. To build one of these debug objects, we need 4 debug objects. I know that's not efficient at all, but we need 4 debug objects and 1 bowl of noodles. So you can see right there, I just picked everything up I need. I can come over to this, press F, and there we go. I used 4 of these guys to make one of these guys. So let's say, you know, I pick up 3 and I pick up a bowl of noodles and I want to plan another one. I'll say right there, I can't build it just because I'm carrying 3 of these inventory filler items and 1 of the bowls of noodles. So if I come back over here, say pick up a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch of these. So you can see I have 8 inventory filler items and 4 bowls of noodles. After I build this, I should have 4 inventory filler items and 3 bowls of noodles. So this will show that the proper amount of items are getting removed from the inventory. This next section is going to explain why, you know, like this is such a complicated feature. It seems like it should be relatively basic, but it's actually much more complicated than you might think. So right here on my screen, I'm actually drawing this on my iPad right now. So just like ignore my desktop in the background. This is all, you know, being written on my iPad, and I'm just using this like a visual representation to better explain the whole idea. Because you would think that, you know, it's pretty easy to do what you need to do. You want to place an object in the world, you put it down, you look at your inventory. How many items do you have in your inventory? This many? Okay, well, we need this many items to actually build the item, build what you put down in the world. So if you have that many items, remove it from your inventory, build the object. Cool, right? It should be that simple. I'm going to start off, before I do anything, I'm going to start off explaining how an array works and how it works in Unreal Engine 4, because it's a little confusing actually. So over here, the left side of our screen, we can see that we have a inventory array, and you can see that it has a list of 8 values, and you know, the values are just whatever the array type is. If it's a string type, then it's got a whole bunch of strings as their values. If it's an integer array, then it's got a whole bunch of different integers as the values. So this one here, let's just say it's an object array. It contains a whole bunch of objects, and these objects are, in our game, different resources that we can pick up, right? So we picked up, over here you can see we picked up some plastic, we picked up some wood, picked up another piece of wood, some more plastic, metal, wood, plastic, and then some more wood again. Every time we pick up an item, it gets added to the array. And every time it's added to the array, it's assigned something called an index value. This index value is basically just a reference to where the object is in the array. So if I say, what was the fifth thing that I picked up? Like over here, I find number 4. This is the fifth thing that we picked up because the array always starts at 0. The fifth thing that we picked up was metal. So if I, for some reason, need to know what the fifth thing I picked up was, that's how you figure it out. You use the index value to find the corresponding actual value of the array. So what I did, here's our array. This is what we picked up while we were playing the game. Cool. What I have is another chunk of code that says, hey, what do you need to build this object that you just put in the world? What do you need to build it? So for this example, let's say that we need wood, right? So this chunk of code will go through, and we have over here 1, 2, 3, 4 different instances of wood. So that means we're going to have 4 different items in our array. So if I come over here, write down 0, 1, 2, 3. That's basic. Those are our indexes for our index array. And I'm going to be saying index a lot, and I'm going to be saying array a lot, and it might get a little confusing. But yeah, that's our array. It's going to be 4 items long. And we're going to go through, and every time that we run into this wood material right here, we're going to find what the index value is, and we're going to plug that in to our index array as a integer value. So if I go through, I say the first occurrence of wood is at index value 1, the second occurrence is at 2, third one is at 5, and the last fourth one is at 7. Let's rewrite that 7. So now we have this second array of indexes, and I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it without saying index a whole bunch of times. But basically, with our index array, we say, okay, this is how many items we need to delete. This is how many items, this is where those items are located in our inventory. So, let's just go through and start deleting them, right? We should be able to start off over here. We have our first item that's going to be found at index value 1. So we just cross off index value 1. I'm sorry if I'm popping the microphone. Cool, whatever. Then we go over to our next one. That's going to be our index value 2. We get rid of that. Next one's going to be 5. We get rid of that. And then 7. And we get rid of that. That's how it should work, right? It's completely easy. No problems, nothing complex yet. And then this over here, boop, boop, boop. That's our resulting array, right? No, that's not at all how it works, and I figured that out the hard way. How the arrays work in Unreal Engine 4 is they dynamically update. So that means that, let's just explain it this way. If we get rid of this value, right, we use our index array to find the index number of the object that we have to remove. Index value of 1, that gets rid of 1, right? Cool. And that's actually how that does work in the first instance. It actually works like that in every instance, but I'll show you why that's a problem. Now we have a array of 7 different items now. We don't have an array of 8 different items like we just did have because we deleted the wood at index value 1. So that means that we need to update all of our other index values. So that means that plastic would still be 0 because that's at the beginning of our array. We haven't touched that. It doesn't move around. But however, this next one, this would become 1. That wood would become 1. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there you can see we have 7 different values. Okay, whatever. Let's go through. Our next item to delete is at index value 2. That's what our array says. We have to delete from our first array, our inventory array. whatever that index value to. Well, if we go over here and we look, we actually have plastic as index value 2. So, we don't want to delete that, but that's what we just ended up deleting. And then we got to update our whole inventory list. This is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we want to delete 5, and I mean, we're getting another piece of wood there, but then we move down over here onto number 7, inventory index 7. There is no 7. You can see, we just end at 5 and we got rid of that actually. So, what did we end up doing? We didn't delete the 4 pieces of wood like we wanted. We deleted 2 pieces of wood and a piece of plastic. So we didn't get what we wanted, and it seems kind of obvious that I'm explaining it now, and like, oh yeah, that that's how arrays work. Ryan just told me that's how arrays work. It's really tricky to figure out because you don't know what's going wrong. There are a million things that can go wrong with code, and the more complex it is, the more pitfalls you can run into. And this one is just basically, hey, here's what you want to do. I'm gonna execute your code. Here's the wrong outcome. This is what you wanted. You figure it out. And that took me quite some time to figure out. So my solution for this was finding a way to reverse this array index. I reversed that. So basically, we say, let's get rid of all these values and flip them around. So we start off at 7, then we go to 5, then we go to 2, and then we go to 1, right? Because if we look, 7, 5, 2, 1, that's still all of our wood values. That's what we need to delete, right? Just like the first time. We get rid of those, and we say, we have the code execute the same thing, delete every index value from the array, from the inventory array. So we start that off, we start off at 0, delete number 7, okay. Delete number 7, whatever, cool. Then we go delete number 5, cool, delete number 5, because we're missing a value there now. We have to update this one to 5. That doesn't really affect anything. Go to 2, delete 2. Then that means that this updates to 2, this updates to 3, and this updates to 4. All right. Everything's going really well. And then we go over here, delete 1, and then that means that this becomes 1, this becomes 2, and this becomes 3. So now, just turn this over this way and cross things out a little better. Really cool thing about the Apple Pencil. So now you can see that we just have 3 pieces of plastic rather left in our inventory, and a piece of metal left in our inventory. We got rid of all the wood like we wanted to, and we preserved the objects that need to stay in the inventory. So cool, that's the solution for that. Now say that the item you're trying to build, the object you're building in the world, requires 2 different materials from your inventory. Say, I want to say let's do metal just because, it's less work to draw out and explain. But here we have the index and we have the value of the, get in here, index array. And we want to use the plastic. So 0, 1, 2, 3 items in the index array because we have 3 pieces of plastic that we need to get rid of. So that array is going to be 0 because that's where it's located over here. And then it's going to be 1 and 3 because we're using our updated numbers. So 0, 1, 3. Same thing applies. We flip that around to be 3, 1, 0. and we go from the bottom of the array list and work our way up for the next material that we need. So we start off, 3, get rid of that plastic, cool, we don't need to update anything. Get rid of 1, that's plastic over there. This metal just updates to over to 1. Let's get rid of you, let's get rid of you. And then we finally end up with 0. Just get rid of you, and then metal has to update over to 0. So that's basically, that's how complex it is to like delete something from a inventory array. It's not just here's how many items you need, remove them. It's you got to do everything with index values. And you got to figure out how to reorder everything so it doesn't kill the rest of your inventory. You're not deleting things you don't want to delete. You're not deleting only half of the items. So yeah, that's my explanation of what was going on today with trying to create the inventory system, or not the inventory system, the removing items from the inventory system when building with the sandbox in game. So I don't know, hopefully that kind of explained things for you guys. Shared kind of my pain and trying to understand this because it's confusing. Maybe I didn't explain it well, I don't know. It makes sense in my head. Yeah, that's that. And here just is further proof that the survival handbook works for other items outside of just the debug item. Ooh, didn't want to place this guy down. He's a tree. He's actually these guys are blueprints. I'll talk about that later. But I would like to highlight right now how I can just build different items in the world. I don't know what I'm doing with that fence back there. Might make sense to put it over there. I don't know. Put that guy down in the world. That guy takes a lot of resources, so I'm just gonna leave him there. Put a tree over there. Get a chest. And this guy you're gonna be able to actually store items in, so that's gonna be pretty cool. I'm feeling kind of rotated this way. Yeah, that looks good. That's a really cool thing about the blueprint feature too. Like right there, I just planned, like, hey, this is, where I want to put, say take a chest, put it back over here. I'm like, cool, well, I can only really see it from this one angle. If I look around, then I'm moving the chest. If I want to put it right there, like, maybe I want to turn it a little more so it's kind of in between these rocks a bit. So that's, the blueprinting system. So you can look around and you can see how something's going to look before you build it. So now, say I can pick it back up and say, rotate it a bit more. Just kind of nuzzle it in there, I guess. And there we go. I just kind of went quiet and I was playing around with the metallic, with the metal of this chest because I really like the way that I textured that. Okay, not gonna distract myself. So this next thing I'm going to talk about are tools and basically like weapon. I guess the proper term would be tool detection. So you can see, we have these trees over here. I come up over here to this lock thing. I can left click and you can see that my player runs a ray trace wherever I click, from the camera to wherever I click. Now right now I have my hand selected. This is just all, logical stuff. It's not actually, obviously I don't have any character models or animations or props in the game that are like, related to tools. So this is just all, logical stuff just to show a proof of concept. So I approach this tree that I've been staring at for the past few minutes and I left click it. I run my ray trace to the tree, it hits the tree, and in the top left hand corner, debug text appears that says this won't work. That's because, like I said, I have my hand selected. If I press 2, now I have my weapon selected. Go at the tree again, that won't work. but 3, I have an axe selected. I'm just looking down at the ground so you can hopefully see the debug text a little better. I have my axe selected right now, and I chop, chop. Looks like it's working. Chop, and the tree falls down. Boom. Obviously, you know, this is placeholder. This is that stump isn't realistic at all, and you can actually see through the bottom of this tree. But just as like, you know, proof of concept, the tree's gonna fall over, stump's gonna spawn right where the tree was, and we can actually go over to this tree again, and you'll see I have my hand selected, that won't work, weapon selected, that won't work, axe selected, chop, 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 and there we go, we just harvested a regular box and a bouncy box out of it. Cool. But anyway, let me highlight a different feature. If we chop down this tree and we keep attacking it as it's falling through the air, you'll notice that we can't chop it up as it's falling through the air until it's on the ground. Then we can chop it up. And you know, that's just so you can't like speed a harvest a tree as it's falling down, and I don't know what kind of problems that would cause, but it would cause some problems. You know, it's really not too realistic chopping a tree into bits as it's falling through the air. And I also added detection in case, you know, the tree can't find the ground. You can see it in the top left-hand corner of the screen. After a while, it says debug tree 2 couldn't find the ground, forcing breakable status. And now we can harvest it. So, you know, that's just in case the tree falls down, it lands against, you know, say another tree or a building or rocks or something, and it doesn't actually just land on the ground. That is what that's for. So unfortunately, you know, I can't talk too much about what kind of stuff has been going on in relation to the storyboarding, but I can, you know, just say that some good progress has been made. And talking about progress, here's another little bit of progress. This is going to be Alara's house. I can jump up here. Nothing has collision, so I could just walk through walls if I wanted. But yeah, this is her house. And this is like the first architectural, you know, model that I've ever made. Actually, this is the first house I've ever made as a 3D model. I think I want to change these support beams to be a little thinner. But you know, like overall, I think everything looks pretty good. There should be a window on this wall right about here. Not really too sure about that. Our concept artist added that there, and I don't know how I, you know, feel about that particular window. But there should be, you know, also another big window back here. This is gonna be like the kitchen area. Probably gonna have like a little table over here, countertop, icebox, place to, you know, prepare food, stuff like that. This is gonna be the main room. Over here, we're gonna have a wood burning stove, some piles of logs. And there's going to be more logs out here along this wall. Probably going to have like a few, you know, furniture pieces, some places to sit down and stuff. Like throw rug, I don't know. This is going to be Alara's parents' room. We're not really going to see in here too much. And this is going to be Alara's room. Bed's going to be over here in the corner. We're going to have a desk. Probably some sewing supplies, dresser, wardrobe, something. That's pretty much the plans for her house. Again, you know, real crazy early in development. I haven't worked on this all too much. I'm pretty happy with the way that it came out, though. So we also got a few new models. One of the models, not including the house, one of the models I went over briefly in the last Patreon update. Last paid Patreon update was this fence model. You know, I think that's pretty cool. Not sure if I'm gonna add that in the final game. I'm definitely gonna have something like it, but in terms of, you know, this particular model, you know, I did a lot of learning with, you know, painting things and you know, like actually painting, hand painting the model. And I learned a lot of things about just like the nature of this type of model. So, I definitely learned from it. I don't know if this exact model is going to appear in the final game, but like I said, something similar to it is going to. Over here we got a, just placeholder chest. I know this one is not going to be in the final game, but this is just going to be testing our, our storage. We're going to be able to put items in this, and like I said, this is just a placeholder kind of thing. You can really see, like I said, I was really happy with the metal. You can see the metallic iron that's underneath all the tarnish and the rust. Just how the light reacts with all of that. I think that's really cool. I do have a few more things that I kind of want to talk about. I can't really say, like, I can say stuff, but I can't like really show too much with this. But we changed the Patreon rewards around just a little bit to offer more, like, just to show more thanks for supporting this project. Those trees, um, those aren't even my trees. Those are trees that came in with Unreal Engine, the actual model themselves. So anyway, the $1 donation bracket, that's going to stay the same. You're going to be listed in the game's credits as a support funder. The $5 donation bracket still kind of stays the same. You're going to be listed as a heavy support funder. But also, the first 10 people that are donating that bracket are going to have access to this map. When it's done, they'll be able to properly chop down trees. They'll be able to build and survive. There'll be a few characters walking around, probably some patrols doing their own thing. There's a secret area on this map somewhere that you can find. It's kind of out of bounds, but it's an interesting place to visit. I hope you guys look around and you find it. Yeah, first 10 people are going to get access to play on this map and just play test all the features. Hopefully, come back to me with bugs, with, like as many bugs as possible so I can really fix everything and make sure, everything's to the full quality that I want it to be when I am working on the final game. And when I release the final game, I'll know what went wrong. $10 donation bracket. Same thing, first 5 people are going to get access to play on this map too, so that means there's going to be a total of 15 people that can play around here. But also, we're going to request that you send us some kind of mailing address. If you have not provided a mailing address yet, I'll contact you by email when we are ready. But what the mailing address is for is when we are ready to move over into like the final, we're ready to start doing an actual proper alpha, not just a pre-alpha. When we actually start building the real game, and once this ships out, we're also going to send out a care package to these 5 people in the $10 donation bracket. And that care package is going to contain a novelty game case, being a PC gamer, I haven't touched one in like forever. But those little, the plastic jackets that you get, like say an Xbox game in or something. We're gonna send one of those to you. It's going to just be Vilous Soldier to the North. It's gonna be game art, just little novelty thing. You're going to get a physical copy of the 75 to 100 page survival handbook. It's going to be translated all in Mesa Circle's Circle language, just like it would be in game. I think that's going to be pretty cool to go through. I'm planning on probably doing a poster, a really big poster, some kind of artwork of the game, and maybe even a t-shirt too. I don't know. Everything's, this was just kind of an idea that I had, in the past few days. So nothing's really too fleshed out yet. And like I said, I really can't show anything like, hey, here's the stuff you're going to get. Just to kind of nudge people towards donating more. But yeah, that is the plan. So obviously I'll keep you guys updated on that, and whatever happens with that, I'll tell you guys about it. I'll show you guys what things will look like as they become available. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this update. So yeah, like I said, that's what happened in this update. A lot of code stuff, some more behind the scenes stuff. We're making pretty good progress with the story. So thanks everyone for supporting, and I'll see you in the next update.